Over 300 million people across the globe simultaneously mark the exact astronomical arrival of spring. This event is Nowruz, the Persian New Year. How does a millennium-old cultural ritual map onto modern circadian neuroscience and the mechanics of social network strain? Current environmental and health sciences treat weather, climate, and pollution as parallel, isolated categories of harm. The Brain Kinematics Model, or BKM, offers a different interpretation. It frames environmental changes as part of a continuous, unified strain flow that moves through biological and social systems. This model tracks how strain propagates across a 6-layer continuum, beginning with environmental input, then biological encoding, cognitive amplification, social redistribution, economic abstraction, and finally, policy feedback. Within this framework, Nowruz functions as a highly optimized sociobiological engineering protocol. Its precise function is to synchronize massive populations to collectively discharge the strain accumulated during the winter months. Understanding Nowruz as a structural technology redefines how we must design human environmental resilience in the modern age. This environment illustrates the recurrent strain geometry of winter compression. The primary input here is the absence of light. The biological consequences are clear. Reduced daylight leads to circadian misalignment, resulting in physical lethargy and energy stagnation. That biological load cascades upward, dulling cognitive processing and forcing a contraction of social networks into isolated indoor pockets. Then comes the vernal equinox. This exact moment of balance forces a sudden shift in environmental energy as daylight begins to overtake the dark. This astronomical turning point serves as a biological trigger. The rapid influx of light provides the specific input required for seasonal mood regulation. Increasing daylight breaks the winter compression cycle, moving the body and mind into a physical and emotional release phase. Successfully navigating this rapid biological shift requires specific buffering capacities, such as stable infrastructure and social support, to prevent the release from turning into instability. The onset of spring serves as a mechanical release node in the annual human strain cycle, transforming environmental change into a directed discharge of tension. The Nowruz strain regulation system is a 6-tier stack. Layer 1, biological. The equinox forces circadian realignment, reducing physiological strain. Layer 2, emotional. The internal state shifts from compressive endurance to expansive flow. Layer 3, cognitive. A strict temporal boundary separates the old and new year. This boundary allows the brain to re-index memory structures, filing away unresolved issues to clear the mental workspace. This re-indexing effectively halts the carryover of cognitive strain from one cycle to the next. The tradition anchors this mental reset in physical reality. Growing sabzeh, or sprouted wheatgrass, provides a tangible manifestation of biological renewal on the family table. The internal layers of Nowruz act as a transducer, converting astronomical light changes directly into biological and psychological resets. The protocol then moves to the external layers, beginning with Layer 4, the behavioral tier. These physical preparation rituals break winter inertia. The most prominent is Kana Tekani, a deep, systematic cleaning of the home environment. These actions convert stagnant, stored strain into directed motor activation and spatial reorganization. Layer 5 is the family tier, which operates through the mechanics of ritualized visiting and gift-giving. These family interactions serve as network repair mechanisms, opening to closed emotional loops that often form during winter isolation. Finally, Layer 6 is societal. Millions of individuals align their behavior simultaneously across an entire civilization. When a massive population shares symbols and optimism at the same moment, it creates a phase alignment across the social network, moving individual nodes into a synchronized rhythm. These external rituals function as a massive social algorithm designed to redistribute emotional load evenly across the community. This seasonal transition is not a universal constant of peace. The release effect is dependent on the underlying socioeconomic buffering capacity of the population. If accumulated strain is too high, the rapid environmental activation of spring can fracture into systemic instability. This limit is measured by the Strain Cascade Index, or SCI, which quantifies how stress transfers across different layers of human life. The formula for the Strain Cascade Index shows that biological impact is multiplied by psychological amplification, social spread, and economic cost. These factors multiply, they do not simply add together. In a resilient environment, the shock is absorbed, resulting in a low SCI. In a resource-starved environment, the same weather transition can lead to a cascading, high SCI. Environmental stressors become exponentially more dangerous as they propagate from biological layers into societal and economic structures. A cultural release valve like Nowruz requires a societal structure with the baseline resilience to absorb the initial strain cascade. The multi-layer BKM strain release mechanism operates as a single unified protocol. Winter accumulation yields to an increase in light, triggering biological activation, a cognitive reset, and total collective synchronization. This tradition has persisted for millennia because it aligns human neural and cultural cycles with the macro cycles of nature. For modern researchers and environmental policymakers, this system provides a blueprint. We must move beyond treating climate symptoms in isolation and instead design holistic, multi-layered strain regulation protocols. Future public health frameworks must account for the entire human environmental continuum. True planetary resilience requires us to engineer systems that flow with environmental transitions, adopting the logic of the civilizational technologies of the past.